Alright, hello everybody. My name is Lance Watson. Tonight I will be discussing tourism and disaster. I noticed in the instructions it said to include a photo, so the right hand corner you see me and my 2.5-year-old Australian Shepherd Bowden. Let's get started. Alright, before we dive in here, I just wanted to take a moment and define tourism. Webster defines tourism as the activity of traveling to a place for pleasure. They go on to say here that tourism is a business in which one provides hotels, restaurants, entertainment for people who are traveling. Talking about tourism and disaster, it's only relevant to define disaster as well. Webster tells us that a disaster is something such as a flood, tornado, fire, plane crash, or hurricane. It's not limited to those, of course, that happens suddenly and causes much suffering and loss to many people. I think in this case, a plane crash would not be relevant because it obviously is not a natural disaster. Anyways, types of disaster. Before we continue further, after viewing many of my classmates' presentations, who also have the same topic as I do, it appears that many centralize the definition of disaster to just focus on hurricanes and floods. I personally think it is important to discuss all types of disaster, not just two in particular that we experience here in Florida. It is, like I said, it is important to note that blizzards, fires, tsunamis, earthquakes, tornadoes are also considered disaster-causing phenomenons that cause widespread stress, panic, and damage. Continuing on, it is no coincidence that tourism and disaster go hand in hand. Going back to the definition of tourism, Webster describes it as traveling for pleasure. Most traveling for pleasure, I think immediately everybody would consider that to be vacation. So living in Florida, we have many of these hot spots in our own backyard. However, once again, it is important to know that blizzards in the Northeast that affect tourist attractions such as New York City and Boston are also disasters. Blizzards make roads dangerous to drive on, they can knock out power, and they can leave you quarantined in your home for days and weeks on end. But it doesn't stop there. Disasters also affect other areas outside the United States. One in particular that I find incredible and very sad at the same time, the 2004 tsunami that occurred in Thailand and other countries the day after Christmas that claimed the lives of 250,000 people is one of the worst disasters in history. Thailand during this time was having a warm season and many people flocked there to escape the winter temperatures. With all this being said, another factor that is of importance here and really brings tourism and disaster full swing is to discuss the weather. Weather is a huge factor here. During the warm months, many people arrive at the coast to enjoy some vacation time. Children are out of school, April, May, vacation, summer vacations usually planned around that time. Hurricane season, once again, occurs from June 1st to November 30th, which is a prime, falls perfectly in a timeline for when citizens take off time to go and travel. Not to just talk about one specific, here I also talk about blizzards on the other hand, occur during the colder months. Months that involve holidays such as Thanksgiving and Christmas, where many people are traveling because there is usually time off. It's important to note that we notice large numbers of disaster-stricken people because those specific disasters occur at a specific time, and the weather has a lot to do with that. To conclude here, I wanted to discuss ways to control what we cannot control. Disaster is a terrible thing, but shout out to FEMA and other organizations for creating disaster management. This can be defined as the organization and management of resources and responsibilities for dealing with all humanitarian aspects of emergencies, in particular preparedness, response, and recovery in order to lessen the impact of disasters. What a mouthful. Basically, disaster management is a plan set forth for, hey, if and when a disaster occurs, we've got some blueprints to go by. Disaster management is a great tool officials have in initiating a game plan when Mother Nature chooses to throw us curveballs. Other tourist attractions such as cruise ships and resorts, both tropical resorts such as Atlantis or winter resorts, ski resorts that you would find in Colorado, North Carolina, Virginia, the Alps, you name it, also have disaster plans in order just in case one were to hit. Having plans drawn up ahead of time keeps tourists at ease and allows them to enjoy their time off. Thank y'all for watching. This is all I have. Go Noles.